Compared to 𝐀𝐈𝐿's previous products, which have often been a little too heavy and cumbersome for our likings, the Air feels much more accomplished from a design perspective. It's comfortable to use for prolonged periods and feels incredibly well made. The plastic is of high quality, and there's no creaking or movement in the casing. Another cool touch is the customizable RGB LEDs, which reside in a ring around the two analog sticks. In their default setting, these light up brightly during use and pulse red when the unit is charging. However, you can alter the settings and even create your own patterns. Because it's possible to have multiple colors on each ring, you can cook up some really eye-catching light displays. While this obviously doesn't add anything beyond a cosmetic touch, it certainly looks good. The OLED touchscreen panel is quite small, but has a full HD resolution of 1080 by 1920 pixels. The image quality is utterly stunning, offering vibrant colors and deep, convincing levels of contrast. The stereo speakers are located on the bottom edge of the system and sound slightly muffled, almost as if the sound isn't quite escaping the interior of the case. Up top, there are 4 shoulder buttons as well as a fingerprint scanner, which also acts as the power button. There are also 2 extra customizable buttons here, which can be used for things like bringing up the on-screen keyboard or dropping back to the desktop view. Alongside the speakers on the bottom of the device, you'll find a micro SD card slot, which is something of a novelty on 𝐀𝐈𝐿 systems. This means you can augment your storage options. On the back, there's a large vent which sucks in cool air to keep things at a manageable temperature, and another on the top which blows outwards. The unit does become quite hot when it's running at full speed, and this might come as a shock to anyone who is used to playing on the Switch or PS Vita. However, when you consider how warm the average PC gets, or how hot the PS5 or Xbox Series X can be when running at full speed, this should hardly be a massive surprise. The 𝐀𝐈𝐿 Air is running Windows 11, so you can essentially run any PC game you'd normally play on your desktop or laptop. The unit we were sent to review is powered by an AMD Ryzen 5 5560U chipset with 16 GB of RAM, which isn't going to set the world alight when it comes to processing grunt, but is more than enough to handle most modern games. Using 𝐀𝐈𝐿's bespoke iSpace application, you can quickly alter the power output of the system to find that sweet spot. By selecting a thermal design power option, you can limit the system to prevent it from running too hot and draining your battery. So, for example, if you're running an old PC title with modest power demands, or you're emulating an 8-bit console, you can drop down to the 5W TDP option. However, AAA games will need you to make use of the highest 12W setting, which means you'll get better performance but less battery stamina. Using the 𝐀𝐈𝐿 Air is a balancing act due to these settings. The 1080p screen almost goes to waste, because 9 times out of 10, it makes much more sense to drop down to 720p and enjoy improved performance and longer battery life. The difference between 1080p and 720p on a 5.5-inch screen is less noticeable than you might think. We often found that we would get improved frame rates in modern PC games by keeping the resolution at 720p. The 𝐀𝐈𝐿 Air allows you to download digital storefronts like Steam,